Thanks for joining us today on our Season 2 review of Cobra Kai. I'm the Grappler 6. Joining me here is the Grappler 8. And let's just get into this. Season 2, Episode 1. So, what everyone has been waiting for, right? So, the continuation of John Kreese coming in the dojo. And, Cobra Kai's back on top, where it belongs. What'd you think of their first interaction back?
Well, I was a little upset that, this guy who was in the show, Cagney and Lacey, by the way, fun fact, comes in, a broken down kind of a pug, and Johnny can't take him? Johnny can't take this old guy from Cagney and Lacey?
Yeah, and when I was watching that, I'm thinking, Kreese may have taught Johnny everything Johnny knows, but Kreese did not teach Johnny everything he knows. So, based off of that, obviously it was a pretty good scrap back and forth. What I really took from that is I love when Johnny kicks him in the face and that cigar goes flying.
The slow-mo.
Perfectly, boom, right into the trash can. I mean, you couldn't have done it twice if you tried. So, and I can't blame you can't really blame Johnny for being upset with Kreese, right? So
the choke out, the trophy, sure.
Yeah, and obviously Johnny's still very upset that he broke his second place trophy, and that's how do you forgive someone for breaking your second place trophy like Kreese did?
I mean, I wouldn't know because the Ocho only takes first place, so I definitely wouldn't know. But if somebody broke my first place trophy, I'd be very upset. Nobody would be dumb enough to do that to the Ocho, but. Totally agree that Johnny and on a psychological point, Johnny's really harboring some feelings. Some 30 years ago, a guy breaks his trophy and chokes him out. But I think it's all warranted, all justified. I'm pro Johnny for this. Bad Kreese, don't like him.
No, I agree. And maybe Johnny, maybe we can look into getting this guy a counselor or something, just because 35 years, a trophy. Maybe it's time to let loose a little bit on some of that hatred and maybe kind of move on a little bit more. He might be a little happier because of it. But look, you should never show mercy to an old man. And Johnny did, and he paid the price for it, didn't he?
He paid the price, absolutely. And you're right about the psychological warfare there too. I think that's harboring some hate for a long time. There's a lot worse things going on in the world.
Now, next thing we know, we're in the Miyagi Joe Dojo, and the first thing I noticed in the dojo in the big backyard is Robbie. When he was standing the deck, his circles just weren't quite big enough. And, he needed a little bit more arc on those circles, you know what I mean, to get the full circle. And he wasn't really breathing in and out properly either, which Daniel did come over and comment on. But that's something I picked up on right away.
Maybe Robbie was upset at just having to do all them chores, though. I mean, aren't there some child labor laws that maybe would frown on this? Robbie's, 16? So, and a bad shoulder, too, at the time. Remember, Miguel ripped on the shoulder, Hawk smacked the shoulder, so maybe the sanding just per range of motion. Ocho knows about ranges of motion. Maybe that was the improper thing. The breathing, I agree. You were right on for it. So it's a tough call. LaRusso means well here, we could see, but having a guy do all your chores is, maybe a little ticky-tack. We don't know yet. Let's see how this plays out.
For 2019, it is a bit much, so I'm going to and those child labor laws, I mean, we, as the Grapplers, we take that serious. So I'm going to, I'll contact Wolf, Hirsch, and Blumberg and have them look into this just a little bit. We don't want to ruffle any feathers, but we don't want Robbie being abused either.
And we know he's already had a bad home life. So, I mean, the last thing, look, with New Japan Pro Wrestling, they take youngins. We got to report them too. They're taking kids, 3-year-olds and whatnot, trying to make them pro wrestlers. So we're on top of this stuff.
So next thing, is when they were building the water deck circle gimmick, that they put they balanced the little trees on and everything. And one thing about the balance, with Miyagi Do, it's very, very important to have that balance in your life. And balance is Daniel's thing. So next we find ourselves, Johnny's back at the apartment. Miguel's mom meets him outside and next thing we know, they're inside and Johnny's eating her 3 milk custard special cake that she brought over for him. And, the thing that I took most from that is not only the 3 different types of milk, but Johnny's got a landline that Kreese calls him on. So very unique. The fact he has a landline, and two, how did Kreese get that number?
And did Kreese call 411? Because is that still a thing?
Maybe he has a phone book from 1984. I don't know. Very strange. I don't picture Kreese with a smartphone.
No, not at all. I'm 100% with you on this one. I have a question though. Let me ask you this here.
Yeah, shoot.
They talk about everything because Daniel said, I beat Cobra Kai 35 years ago and I could do it again. From 1986 or 1987 to 2018, no other karate guys had any partake in anything. It was all hunky dory, I guess, at the All Valley. Or I'm curious. That's all.
No beef.
Yocho's mind.
No beef.
This is the only thing that's causing the rift, I guess. All right, understood.
Yeah, makes sense. So I do like Johnny's anger towards Kreese. It's definitely something you would have anger from. Again, He broke his trophy. He tried to choke him out. He was kind of a father figure. He really let him down. When the father figure and your sensei tries to kill you, that can really scar a person. So and the thing with Kreese is, Kreese has been hibernating. He's been waiting for his time to strike. So now that he's come out of his hole, he's climbed out of his hole. This is a completely different world that he's in right now.
He does right, exactly. He's walking out. It's almost like Back to the Future sans 2019.
Yeah.
You said something very profound that I think we should reiterate. When your sensei that you looked up to breaks your trophy and tries to kill you, I think, that will leave a lasting impression on you. So, grand scheme of things. So maybe you're right about Johnny having that resentment and hate, and still would talk to the guy. Humble
and Kreese ruined his life. He ruined his life with those actions.
Absolutely.
Johnny's been spiraling out of control ever since. And, it's really a shame to see. So hopefully these two, as we move on through this series, hopefully these two can come to some sort of resolution.
Yeah, well, you know how hard it is to get a job when your second place trophy is broken, right?
I know. It's next to impossible. If you don't have that second place trophy, no one's going to hire you. It doesn't matter what kind of degree you have.
You could have all the contacts in the world. You could have all, but it doesn't happen. This is real world shit here, guys. That's
the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That does apply, except for when you don't have your second place trophy.
Right. It's not what you know, is your trophy intact.
So now we're moving back to the Miyagi dojo, and what I didn't realize was Mr. Miyagi was a war hero. That's pretty impressive stuff. He had a little medal and everything, which is pretty cool. The other thing that I really liked that from the original movie too, that was cool is the rules of Miyagi Do. Daniel has them up in Miyagi Do language. Yep. And obviously, as we all know, I think everybody knows this. The first rule of Miyagi Do karate is for defense only. Extremely important. And the second rule, learn the first rule.
Yep. And I've heard that the second rule is sometimes the hardest one to learn, but when you get some smart students, they're able to do that. I got one other thing. I just thought of it. So Mr. Miyagi was obviously important to Daniel LaRusso. And this is just, hypothetical, but what happened? What did Mr. Miyagi do before LaRusso got in his life? And did LaRusso have another friend at all in his life besides Mr. Miyagi? Because
Mr. Miyagi, so I know, actually. Good question.
Oh, good.
I know. So
smarten me up.
Mr. Miyagi was a war hero, obviously, as we all know. He has that little medal in the frame. Mm-hmm. But basically, once he was done with his war hero stuff, he became a janitor at that apartment building.
Yeah, and he was a Mr. Fix-It guy. Yep.
Yeah, he was fixing AC units, refrigerators,
the faucet,
ovens, the faucet. Yeah, yep. Mopping floors. He was working on that pool. That's the only reason I had any water. So that's pretty much what he was doing until he met Daniel's son, and Daniel kind of brought him back into that world of karate.
He brought him into right. Brought him up to speed, got him back to karate. Right. Good point. So kudos to both of them for making each other's lives better. You know, yin and yang, I guess, kind of stuff, right?
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Bro, does anybody even lift, bro? Is all I gotta ask. It's
rhetorical. They do push-ups
on their knuckles,
and then they lift bags of cement. But I gotta ask you a serious question. If there's 2 grapplers in the jungle, say we're those 2 grapplers in the jungle. Aid, I hate to say this, but I'm going to be the one that kills the lion.
This is what would happen. 2 grapplers are in the jungle. 2 grapplers are going to team up and kill the lion together and have a feast.
And a real badass.
And then the
beats his
monkey,
opponent when he's at his strongest.
That's right.
And a real badass grappler, we both beat our opponent when he's at his strongest. Boom.
We don't have to slap the leg with the super kick. We just team up because team tactics work. Don't worry about the crippled monkey. We're fine with that. We'll get him later.
So next scene we have Samantha training karate in the little dojo gimmick they have at their house, and she's doing her moves. And Daniel comes in, and he could tell that she's still upset over Miguel and everything that went down. So look, Daniel understands. Daniel thought his first girlfriend would last forever.
Yeah, God, that Judy, she was a peach.
Oh, Judy
was special.
And once they moved out of Jersey and into California, Danny met Allie, right? And he thought she was the one. He thought she was the one. It was true love, right?
Yeah.
And he's got plenty of stories for another time.
Right. But got to have the talk with the daughter eventually anyway. I guess Daniel was
Birds and the bees. She's getting to that age. So, and what really struck me in this scene, too, is how, Samantha mentioned, and I like Sam. She seems like a good kid, that the entire school's being brainwashed by the Cobra Kais. And that's not a good thing. You don't want half of a school brainwashed by karate people.
Right. You don't need that because can you imagine the fight that would happen if this with all this karate and technique and everything? That'd be uncontrollable. Poor Sam.
Next we see and this really I don't know Samantha that well, but I'm really starting to get to know her, and she's a pretty smart girl. I like how she comes to join Miyagi Do after the decks are already sanded and all the fences are already painted. What better time to join after Robbie already did all that work?
He just finished.
Well, last but not least, and this is huge before this episode ends right now. And I don't know if you got this feeling, so I'm going to say it, and I really want to hear your feedback. But it feels like to me that Kreese is really trying to manipulate Johnny here. At the end of episode 1, and I guess I can't pinpoint exactly what it is. It's just I'm getting that feeling in my gut about he's not as honest as he's coming across, and maybe he has some sort of ulterior motive. I guess we won't know until the season moves on. But what were you thinking about that?
Well, it was the smirk. Did you see the smirk when he was leaving? And merchandising. Six knows how to merchandise. When Kreese said, "All right, I won't come back," and he was leaving, and then Johnny said, "Hey, wait." And it wasn't like he just turned around. He gave the smirk, I got him.
Good stuff. Well, I don't know about you, 8, but I'm excited for episode 2. So, guys, that's all we have for episode 1. Make sure you like the video, comment below, and subscribe to our channel. And be sure and be on the lookout for Cobra Kai Season 2, Episode 2 review coming up soon. Thanks, guys.
Damn it! Subscribe to the Brothers Grappler YouTube channel! Like the video, damn it! Leave a comment, damn it! Share, damn it!